Hi and welcome back to the Day 5 project of White Christmas tutorial series. This time it is going to be a set of 3 tags. Each tag is an intricate see-through frame with a winter wonderland scene inside, different for each tag. In this tutorial I'll show you how I created the frames as well as all the scenes inside of them. So now let's start from the beginning. To create the frame, I'm going to use a set of layering dies by Birch Press Design called TRINA Snowflake. I've die cut the top and bottom layers out of thick watercolor paper, and for the mid layer I've used silver mirror cardstock. Now I'm going to set the centers aside and use them for another project. For this one I will only need the frames. And this is how you stack the layers. I'm applying some glue onto the mid layer at the wrong side and aligning it with the bottom layer. Actually, I only have to align those ends of the snowflake that stick out of the circle, and the rest of the image will come together all by itself. Then I'm applying the top layer the same way, and you can see that the circles and the ends of the snowflake totally overlap each other, but the pattern inside creates beautiful layers. And as always, you can find the list of products I'm using down below in the description, as well as on my blog. To create the background, I've used a circle die that is 2¼ inch wide, and if you are using Circle Basic set, it's the die number 9 if you count from the largest one. And to create the scene, I'll be using the die called the Country Church Frame by Memory Box. It's a bit larger than my tag, so I'll have to trim the die cut down. I have traced the snowbank outline with a pencil, and now I'm cutting it out with the scissors. But before I apply it, I have to attach the background first. So I'm tracing the outline of the circle with the liquid glue. I'm using Ranger Multimedia Matte, and then I'm attaching the frame on top of it. And by the way, the specialty cardstock I'm using for the background is Ice Gray Glacier by Tonic Studios. Then I'm attaching the snowbank outline inside the frame. I'm using the same watercolor paper that I used for the frame. I've die cut all the smaller elements like this church and pine trees out of white paper and silver one. And now I'm going to assemble the scene. So I have stuck down the church outline onto a piece of vellum, and then I'm cutting it out with the scissors. And I'm doing this to create the background for the windows. Now I'm attaching the silver roof, and then I will move on to the smaller elements. And again, I keep alternating white and silver colors. When I'm finished assembling the church, I'm going to add the trees and the building to the scene in the frame. For more interest, I'm going to place some trees behind the fence and some of them in front of it. As a finishing touch, I'm going to add some stars. They are silver confetti by Cat Scrappiness. And that finishes the first tag. Now let's move on to the second one. The focal image for this scene is going to be this die called Little Bridge, also by Memory Box. It's one of my all-time favorites. To make the ground for this landscape, I have traced the center of the snowflake frame, and then I'm cutting it out with the scissors. Then I'm going to create a curved line with the scissors and trim off the top part. Then I'm going to trace the outline of the river with a pencil which is basically just the two curved lines. And then I'm cutting along those lines with the scissors. It's just a very basic shape and it doesn't have to be perfect at all. Then I'm sticking down both pieces to the bottom of the frame. Next, I want to create some kind of texture for the river to make it look differently from the sky. So I'm applying a thick layer of glossy accents onto the river area, and then I'm sprinkling some silver glitter on top. I'm using the one by Nouveau. I'm sweeping off the extra glitter with a soft brush, and now I'm ready to add the focal elements of the scene. This little bridge is a very fun die to work with, and you can use just one element and it will already look like a bridge, or you can add two more elements and make this bridge dimensional. And this is exactly what I'm doing now. I'm attaching the bottom of the bridge, and then I will add the second element, and here is what the bridge now looks like. This layering really helps the bridge to stand out more against the background. So now I'm going to use another tiny die set, which is called Little Pines, and it works perfectly with the bridge. I have made a few die cuts with this set, and now I'm arranging them on the ground at both sides of the bridge. Since the river is so glittery, there must be the moon somewhere above it, so I have created one with a circle die. Now I'm going to finish off the scene by attaching a few silver stars, just like I did in the previous scene. So here is the tag number 2. Now let's move on to the last one. The die set I'll be using for this tag is Stitched Village, also by Memory Box. I have cut out the circle and now I'm creating the ground line just like I did for the previous tag. I'm sticking down the ground and now I'm ready to add the rest of the elements. I'm attaching all 3 houses in a row just so that they are overlapping the horizon line. And then I'm going to insert all the tiny windows and doors. In this set, each house has 2 roof variations that you can choose from. One is straight and one is scalloped. For this project, I have decided to go with the scalloped ones. The snow toppers I'm going to attach next are also the part of the set. To complete the scene, I'm going to use this tiny fox die. This one is by Poppy Stamps. I have used the silver pearlescent cardstock to die cut it. And then again I'm going to add a few silver stars to complete the scene. This finishes the 3rd tag, but at this point I have decided that my tags are missing just a little bit something. So I thought that attaching a small pearl at each end of the snowflake will not do any harm. But as I went on, I thought that adding a few more mid-size and larger pearls will not do any harm either. It is always like that with the pearls, you just have to get started and then you cannot stop. So this is what the frame now looks like, and all I have to do is to attach the twine to the tag. and this is how I'm doing it. I'm feeding the ends of the twine through the small holes at the top of the tag from the back side. Then I'm feeding the ends through the loop and I'm pulling it down so that it goes behind that little piece at the top of the tag. And that finishes the project. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks for watching and please come back really soon for the project number 6.